Hello again, everyone. Edwin Leonard back once again in this YouTube astrological segment. I'm going to be talking about transit Venus making a square opposition or inconjunct aspect to one's natal Pluto. Now, when we're talking about transits that involve Venus, this could be about love, enjoyment, money, possessions, resources, values, self-worth, self-esteem, and how one feels about oneself. Now, when you have the transit of Venus basically making an adverse aspect to natal Pluto, when I say basically, I'm going to elaborate on that. Well, the thing about it is, of course, the square and opposition are adverse aspects. And the inconjunct, though it's seen as a neutral, it requires transition, sometimes adjustments, and those things could be exasperating at times and intention filled. So when you look at this collectively, this really, I mean, for the most part, it is an adverse transit. Now, anyway, as far as the transit Venus, basically making an adverse aspect to natal Pluto, this may manifest in the love, enjoyment, money, resources, possessions, values, self-worth, self-esteem, how one feels about oneself, may conflict with gaining power and control. It could simply be in one's life or over a monetary situation. In the second house, it might be monetary. If Pluto's in the second house, it may be a monetary situation. It can be where you just have difficulty, maybe because how you feel about yourself. Limited self-worth at this time might play a role in the power and control you can attain in a certain facet or area of one's life. Pluto is also about transformation. So if you're trying to make a major transformation, whether it might be, a physical one, a monetary one, in your home life, if you have this in the fourth house, it could be Pluto in your fourth house, it could be a home renovation or remodeling. It might be something you're not really as enjoying much at this time more than usual, or it could simply be you may not have the monetary means to do so. Venus is connected with money, of course. Venus is also about what we enjoy. And also, too, Pluto in astrology is connected with support, whether it may be moral, monetary, emotional support. So this could be the time where people, in your relationships, whether it's a significant other, a marriage partner, it might be a significant friendship, these people might not be really around, or they may be lacking in that support at this time. And say, like if you have like the opposition, especially, I would say these people might be at a distance at this time, as far as giving you that kind of support, or at least it's harder to come by from those people. But Pluto is also connected with rebirth and regeneration. So it could be a time if you're trying to resurrect something, whether it may be a business or some career, something in your life. It might be something that might be, might be a little more exasperating at this time. It might be more tension filled or require more of a laborious effort. And again, going back to, Venus being associated with things of a monetary nature, it could be such where you may not have the funds, or those funds are harder to come by in order to do so at this time. And also lovers might be a little bit more controlling at this time, or more fixated or obsessive at this time, more so than usual. And the thing too is that when you look at this transit as well, this could also be, you're talking about Pluto can be associated with insurance matters. And if you're trying to, settle some kind of insurance situation, if money, money can be involved. Like, I would say, a lot with these insurance matters, it can be where the money may be harder to come by in order to get this taken care of, or you may be taking, might be taking more of a toll on your finances, more so than usual. If there is a death in your, that you're, somebody close to you, prominent in your life, whether it may be a family member, it could be something where the money, trying to come up with it might be more taxing at this time than ordinarily. You look at this as well. Pluto is also associated with deep research. So if it's something, whether it's an energy situation or what have you, you might not really feel like doing this at this time, or you might be required to spend more money to do this if you're trying to do, like, look deeply into someone's criminal background to see if they have it. It might be more money than you originally anticipated. Um, could also be when you're talking about Pluto, it's not just about literal death. It can be about figurative death and ending and obliteration or destruction of something. So this could be a time if you're trying to end something of a monetary nature, or way you're generating income, and you're trying to move on to something greener pastures, or something that would be more beneficial to you monetarily. It could be a little bit harder to do at this time. uh, it can also be when you look at this transit as well. Remember that Pluto is connected, anatomically, with the colon, the prostate, the bladder, the reproductive system. So this is something where, again, going back to, the money situation, it might be a situation where the funds may not be there in order to do so. It may conflict. This might conflict more with your fun, your amusement, your enjoyment, things you like to do at this time, maybe even foods that you may like to indulge in. Uh, the thing about this as well is that Pluto's also connected with toxins, so you got to be careful at this time that I don't know. Foods can ever carry some kind of toxins in, accidentally, assimilate some kind of, adverse chemical or something in. But if that's the case, then you need to be careful. But you may want to look that up on the internet to confer whether that it could actually happen. But what I'm saying is, because Venus is associated with the foods we enjoy and like to indulge in, Pluto can be toxins, and it could also be a situation where maybe you're involved in a relationship that might be toxic at this time as well. If you just embarked on some new relationship, say, and you're unsure of this person, it can, it can have a greater propensity for that at this time. And another thing too is that Pluto's also associated with crime and corruption. And remember again that Venus is about money, so be careful at this time that you're not, it can give a little greater propensity to be a victim of a crime at this time, more so a monetary crime at this time, more so than usual. Pluto is also very manipulative energy, so guard against being manipulated by people you might be in a relationship with, whether it's a significant other, a marriage partner, or even important or significant friendship at this time. And Pluto is also associated with crisis situations. So it can be a situation where you might be dealing with, your things that you enjoy and love at this time, your peace and tranquility. It might really conflict with a crisis at this time more so than it ordinarily would. And another way this transit may manifest, it could be not loving, so to speak, your shared resources situation. If say if Pluto is in Sagittarius in the fifth house as an example, it might be, maybe sharing some kind of sports, which is Sagittarius, games, which is the fifth house. Um, and this is something that we're also too at this time, relationships again. This could be a situation where relationships may conflict with a crisis that you may be trying to take care of, or some upheaval in your life. Say if your natal Pluto is in Virgo in the sixth house as an example, it could be a crisis situation that may be, health related. It might involve something Virgo related, such as something with the spleen, or the pancreas, or some intestinal issue, abdominal issue at this time. Also, too, this transit can also be expressed, and there may be difficulty perhaps in finding enjoyment, perhaps in something Pluto related. It could be something with the occult, which includes astrology, or something, deep research, or making a transformation, such as like a home renovation or transformation at this time. Hold on a moment, people. Sorry about that, I'm back. But anyway, it may also be harder at this time to say ascertain the value. Remember, Venus is about money. It's about what things could be worth valuing. Harder to determine the value, perhaps, of something Pluto related. Say if you're in a business and you have some, X-ray, gamma ray. I don't know if it's or maybe something called like a gamma ray machine, something with radiology, or recycling, maybe tool or machine or what have you, something that could be Pluto related and might be something connected with the occult or astrology, um, something that maybe some tool device that works with waste. It can be something too where also issues, if you have any that are anatomically connected with Venus, like the kidneys, the lower back, the neck, the throat, the thyroid, may challenge maybe some kind of control you're trying to have, whether just simply in your life or making a major transformation, dealing with a crisis, maybe a shared resources situation. Now, say for example, if the natal Pluto is in the first house, and maybe it's transforming the physical body, and the appearance, if it's Pluto's in Virgo, could be, of course, with meticulous attention to detail. And it might be harder to get the funds at this time for surgery or maybe some kind of major injury or trauma that you may be dealing with. If, say for example, if natal Pluto, say, is in Scorpio, it could be something, with the bladder or something with the reproductive system, the colon, um, the prostate. Sagittarius could be something with the liver or the thigh, um, hip or the sciatic nerve is some examples. Anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, people, Edwin Leonard saying stay well.